Have you ever woken up, stared at the ceiling, and had a single terrifying thought? I don't recognize the person living inside my own skin. That's what happened to me one morning. It wasn't depression. It wasn't burnout. It was something quieter, something more sinister. It was the slow creeping realization that my life had been drifting for years, and I didn't even notice I was losing myself. From the outside, everything looked fine. My job was okay. My relationships weren't a total disaster. Nothing major was falling apart. But inside, it felt like a slow erosion. Tiny pieces of me were chipping away every time I said yes, when I really meant no, every time. I stayed silent just to keep the peace, every time I chose convenience over what I honestly felt. And that morning, it all finally caught up to me. See, you don't just wake up one day and magically lose yourself. It happens in whispers. It happens in compromises so small you barely even feel them. I started ignoring the subtle signs. I stopped doing the things I loved, not because I didn't have the time, but because it didn't feel like me doing them anymore. I started laughing less. My mornings felt heavier, and my nights, even in complete silence, felt deafeningly loud. I kept telling myself, "You're just tired. You're just stressed. This is what adulting is." But deep down, I knew it wasn't normal. It was me, slowly disappearing. Then came the morning it all broke. I woke up, sat on the edge of my bed, and for a moment, I couldn't remember what the hell I was doing with my life. Not the big goals, not the long-term dreams, not the who do I want to be in 5 years kind of stuff. No, I mean the simple, fundamental things. Why am I living like this? Who am I trying so hard to impress? Why am I so terrified of choosing myself? I walked to the bathroom and looked in the mirror. The face staring back at me felt like a stranger. I recognized the shape of it, the eyes, the tired expression. But the soul behind those eyes? I had no idea who he was anymore, and the strange part is, it wasn't a loud breakdown. I didn't cry. I didn't collapse on the floor. It was a calm kind of breaking, the kind that scares you even more because it feels so rational, so logical. I remember saying out loud to the empty room, "I don't know who I am." Hearing my own voice say it made my chest tighten. I had spent so long, so many years, being what other people needed, what they expected, what kept everything peaceful, that I completely forgot who I was when nobody was watching. That morning taught me a powerful lesson. Losing yourself doesn't happen when life gets hard. It happens when life gets quiet. It happens when the routines feel safe, when the days blend together, when you're not necessarily unhappy. But you're also not really alive. I realized I wasn't living. I was maintaining relationships, maintaining stability, maintaining an image of someone who had it all together. But I wasn't growing. I wasn't expressing myself. I wasn't choosing. I was surviving politely. And here is the truth nobody ever tells you. You don't lose yourself because of one big bad decision. You lose yourself because of 1,000 small ones made for everyone except you. I spent the next few weeks trying to retrace my steps, trying to understand how I got to this place. And I had to face some hard truths, especially the lies I'd been telling myself. The biggest one was, I'm okay. But being okay is the most dangerous place you can be. It's not bad enough to force you to change, but it's not good enough to make you feel truly alive. I told myself I was just being reasonable, but I learned that reasonable is often just fear wearing a nice, sensible outfit. I told myself I was strong, but I now know that real strength isn't about silent endurance. It's about honest self-awareness. Then I had to look at the expectations that had shaped me. I realized how many of my choices weren't even mine. They belonged to my parents' hopes for me, my partner's need for comfort, my friends' opinions, society's outdated idea of a successful man. Slowly, without me even noticing, I had become a collage made up of everyone else's expectations. There was nothing in that picture that was truly my own. The real shift happened one night. I sat in the dark, no music, no phone, no distractions. Just me. And I asked myself a question. If nobody expected anything from you, who would you be? That question hit me deeper than any heartbreak I'd ever experienced, because the honest answer was, I didn't know. And admitting that to myself was the first truly honest thing I'd said in years. If you're watching this and you feel something in your chest getting a little tight, maybe it's because you felt this too. That quiet, nagging fear that you're drifting away from the person you once promised yourself you would become. Well, here's what I've learned on this journey back. You don't find yourself like you're looking for lost keys. You rebuild yourself, brick by honest brick. You start choosing differently. You speak differently. You give yourself permission to want things again. You build boundaries that protect the person you're trying to grow into. And slowly, so slowly you might not notice at first, the stranger in the mirror starts to look familiar again. Life isn't going to just hand you clarity. It won't tell you who you are or pause while you try to figure it all out. You become yourself through the courage to stop living on autopilot. So if you wake up one morning feeling like a stranger in your own life, don't panic. It's not the end. In fact, it might just be the beginning. It's the moment your old self finally breaks so your true self can finally breathe. If this story touched something inside you, maybe it's because you're standing at the same crossroads I once stood at. And if you stayed with me all the way to this moment, thank you. That tells me you're ready. You're ready for that next version of yourself, the one you've been avoiding, the one you've been burying, the one you secretly miss. I'm rebuilding myself too, one honest day at a time. If you want to walk that journey together, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.